With this video, I want to start a new section of the course, which are case studies. And what better case study to start with than mine, because that's the business I know best. I know all the details. So my company is Problemio.com. I guess you can say it started roughly in 2011.
This video is brought to you by EpiPies Academy,
which is like ancient history ago where dinosaurs roamed the earth and all that. So how did it start? First of all, the original idea was absolutely nothing like what it is now. Original idea was crowdfunding site. Crowdfunding was just taking off. Like Kickstarter, these companies were kind of really hot and new. So crowdfunding site for crowdsourced business ideas. What does that really mean? It means people would brainstorm business ideas on my website, and the best business ideas would get chosen to get funded. And so everything happened on the site, right? Like people brainstormed the business ideas, then they got funding for it, then they started it. So that was my unique idea. And this idea actually was unique. It just wasn't good for a number of reasons. Biggest problems were that it was really hard to get traffic to this, and no one wanted to publicly discuss good business ideas. A lot of entrepreneurs were secretive about it, but it really did take a critical mass of people discussing things to have enough activity on a site like this, and it just never got there. So it didn't work. It was dead. I had to move on, but it was beginning to be 2012, and at that time apps were just becoming hot, and I thought I was late to the game then. And so as a software engineer, I was like, I got to learn how to make apps, and I didn't know what app to build. So I built that idea of my failed business into an app just to kind of learn how to make apps and see what this app thing is all about. And I had this interesting feature that I added to my app, which was letting people ask me questions. And people asked me all kinds of business planning questions. And I was like, business planning. People really want to know business planning. So I started growing this app, and it kind of morphed it into a business planning app. And I went away from the crowdfunding and crowdsourcing and all that, because that just wasn't working for me. And the apps grew because at that time, even though I did think it was late, it was beginning to be like 2012. I believe I launched my first app in April of 2012, and I ended up ranking for all the major keywords like business plan, business, all the major SEO keywords in the app stores. I was on top of them. And because I had really good customer support, I was literally chatting with people right on the app, helping them. I was doing all the work. It was crazy. Like I was waking up and a ton of people would be like bombarding me with questions, and all I'd be doing is like helping them out. So the quality of the app was really good because I was like a real person helping people. And that app grew, and it sort of got established, and I kind of started thinking, well, what's next? And because people were asking me questions on the app, a lot of the same questions repeated. So I thought I'll just answer those questions in YouTube videos once and just point people to the YouTube videos. That actually got me started creating videos. I was really bad at videos, but nevertheless, I started creating videos. And at the same time, because apps were new, cool, and shiny, I started to get a lot of publicity from my apps. Like people wanted to have me on their shows and podcasts and all that, so that I can talk about the app business, because nobody understood it at that time. So doing something a little bit unique and ahead of the curve got me a lot of attention. But really, I started getting a lot more traffic just from my YouTube channel. And in the beginning, I was really bad at video, really bad. You can maybe say I'm still bad, but if you say that, then I was way worse before. It just took me a long time to improve, maybe a little bit too long. I literally made over 800 videos on YouTube. A lot of them I took down because they were just too bad. But now there's like a few million views on my YouTube. So it grew, but over time. And what I was also doing at the same time, I was also networking with my peers. And then one peer suggested, well, if I'm doing YouTube, I should do books, right? It's educational content. So I started doing books, and now I have like 20 books on Amazon, and I've been writing for over 5 years, 6 years, depending on how you count. My first books were flops, and then I had to write like 20 books, and even my top selling book, I had to rewrite, I think 21 rewrites, most of them major rewrites, just to get it right. Now some are used at universities, but like it took an insane amount of work to make myself better as a writer. And then of course, because I had the books and I had the YouTube and the apps, my coaching started picking up. And then I got into Udemy, and Udemy started picking up. And then I started creating courses for companies. Like companies would hire me to create courses. Working for businesses is often lucrative. So it kind of snowballed, but it was never easy because if you look at it, every space I'm in, it's extremely competitive. Books, extremely competitive. Coaching, extremely competitive. Udemy, extremely competitive. So in your case, you probably think like, I'm in a competitive space. That's terrible. And it's true, but like I actually face the very same thing. Every day there are people who are better than me. I just have to do what I can to make myself better, because just like it might be driving you crazy that you're in like a really competitive space, it's actually driving me crazy too, to be honest, because it's really hard to be in such a competitive space. Even though I'm ahead of most people, I'm still behind some people. So it sort of grew over time, all of this, and it kind of became a little bit of a diversified business. And all of these things, sometimes they grow a little, sometimes they plateau a little, sometimes they grow. So some takeaways, because it's taken years for this whole thing to evolve and to grow, and there was a lot of setbacks and a lot of failures and steep learning curves. So one thing that I focus on now is authority building, largely through, of course, quantity, but also quality. I keep trying to improve, especially all my old stuff. Like somebody the other day I saw your YouTube video. I asked which one, and they said someone, and I was like, oh my God, that one is from 2014. And then it became embarrassing, right? So a lot of my work is to improve, redo a lot of the things that are older, just because I want to actually seem authoritative and be authoritative. And of course, you'll notice a lot of the strategies that I use are SEO and algorithmic marketing, meaning in the app stores, people found me through App Store search. In Amazon, people find me through Amazon search or recommendation algorithms. On Udemy, people find my courses through search or recommendation algorithms. On YouTube, people find the videos through search or recommendation algorithms largely. So it's actually these strategies that have enabled me to automate a lot of my marketing and grow. And of course, notice the hustle. Everywhere I started, I did a tremendous amount of legwork. Like in the apps, I literally was typing and answering people's questions for free in the beginning. I mean, no one does that, right? Rewriting my book, like one book 20 times. A few people do that. Creating a lot of videos, creating a lot of courses, redoing them until I get it right. That hustle, most people don't have that. And I'm not saying that to compliment myself. I'm saying that if you have that hustle, you will succeed because persistence and hard work is key. So that's my case study of what it took over the years to get my business going. So hopefully now it's a little bit of inspiration of like, if you're starting out, now you know what to do and how hard you have to work, but the fact that it's totally possible to succeed.